Game 1 goes to the Vancouver Canucks. They defeat the Oilers 5-4, 4 unanswered goals. The Oilers blow a big lead and lose Game 1 in the worst way possible. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Oil Stream Postgame Show presented by GCL Diesel. Tom Gazzola, YouTube Trev with you. Matt Kassian joining shortly as the Oilers drop Game 1 to the Vancouver Canucks. That is not how you do it. That is a smack in the face. That is a wake-up call. That is you shooting yourselves in the foot. We're going to go over all of it tonight. Text us, 780-218-9999. And then, of course, the nasty chat has been humming for the last 5-6 minutes here. I've been watching along, and people are pissed, understandably so. I feel like I'm going to be using this button a lot tonight. There's going to be a lot of that. Keep your expletives in check, if you don't mind. I'll use that bleep button as much as possible. But my goodness, that is how you lose it in absolutely stunning fashion. If you're a Vancouver fan, you're loving what you saw tonight. Not for the first 30 minutes, but certainly for the last 30 minutes. Of course, GCL Diesel, Edmonton's diesel fuel system specialist, providers of critical engine components for over 50 years. All right, let's get into it as the Oilers lose Game 1. And my goodness, did they ever. So we're going to start with the scoring summary, and then we're going to get to some reaction. We'll get your thoughts, obviously, as well as those texts continue to accumulate. Lots of them rolling in already. Some vitriol. I've got a lot of things to say about you people. You people being the Edmonton Oilers tonight. In the first period, everything's looking good. Just 2:11 in. Zach Hyman on the early power play. He connects for his 8th of the year from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Leon Draisaitl. Then at 15:01, Matthias Ekholm would extend the lead to 2-0. His first of the postseason from Draisaitl. To the second period we go. And just 53 seconds in, you hate these ones. You hate goals at the start of periods, and you hate goals at the end of periods. This one comes in 53 seconds in from Dakota Joshua. I said, look out for Joshua. He had a big Game 1 in this series. His third of the postseason from Cole and Lindholm, 2-1 Edmonton. They would restore the lead. Not long, well, about 11 minutes later, it was Cody Ceci at 12:26 to make it 3-1 from Derek Ryan and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Give Nugent-Hopkins a pair of points on the evening. And then it would be Zach Hyman getting to Arturs Shilovs to make it 4-1 for Edmonton. You're thinking this is going to be a cakewalk, right? Wrong. At the 13:11 mark, 4-1 Edmonton. Hyman second of the night, 9th of the postseason from Bouchard and McDavid. But late in the second period at 17:01, Elias Lindholm, his third of the playoffs from Dakota Joshua and Carson Soucy, a bad goal, bouncing it in off of Stuart Skinner's stick. And we're going to hear a few things about Stuart Skinner tonight. He buckled under the pressure, that's for sure. I think another example of that in the second period when he touched the puck outside of the trapezoid. You just can't do that. You just can't do that. We're looking for some maturation from Stu Skinner. We gave him the benefit of the doubt because he put together a good series against the LA Kings. Didn't happen for him tonight. This goal I didn't like either. In the third period, 9:38 in when the Canucks pushed, and they pushed hard. JT Miller, redirection at the side of the net, gets by Stu Skinner. I have all the time in the world for a really nice tip, but that should not be going in from that angle. JT Miller's second of the playoffs from Besser, and Soucy cutting the lead to 4-3. And then this one, I'm not putting the fourth goal on Stu Skinner for the record. There was a lot of white jerseys moving in front of him, stacking up in front of him. And then there was even a redirection. So Nikita Zadorov's third. The blast gets by Skinner off the redirection. Like I said, big screen in front from a lot of Oilers. You can't do that. You need to be positionally sound. They were not on that goal. Bluger and Höglander, the Apples, 4-4. And then not long after that, 39 seconds later, Connor Garland. This goal, an absolute backbreaker. This goal, a piece of crap if you're the Oilers and if you're Stu Skinner. And he knew it. You could see it from his head tilting back. If you're the Vancouver Canucks and you're a fan of that team, You love the goal. It was an old school move. You would see it in the 70s and the 80s, and it worked on smaller goalies, less athletic goalies. But this was a goal that didn't go in a lot in the 90s, certainly in the early 2000s, in the knots. And these days, you can't let one like that slide in. Garland with the fake, going down the side, push to the outside. He's a little guy. He's tenacious. And then as Skinner's shuffling across, he slides it through Skinner's pad. Skinner's stick, not anywhere to be found. Bad goal on Stuart Skinner. So that's 3 bad goals I will put on Stu Skinner in this one. And the Oilers fall 5-4. They couldn't get much going offensively. They did not have an answer to Vancouver's push. And ultimately, it cost them. They blow the big lead, and they find themselves down 1-0. That's the one you get to burn. That's the one you get to burn if you're the Oilers. You had it. You let it slip away. You did it to yourself. Your goalie didn't help you. Lots of reasons why they didn't lose this game. I want your thoughts. 780-218-9999. For those saying that you need a goalie, Stuart Skinner is not good. He had a bad night. 3 of those goals I'm saying are unacceptable, and he needs to bounce back. Let's see if he can appreciate and be thankful for those lessons that he bestowed upon himself and move on and be much, much better in Game 2 on Friday. Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. Of course, the nasty chat, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. We appreciate it despite the result. Let's get that thumbs up game going for sure. All right, let's get Matty Kassian in here to get his breakdown. Cass is ready to go. I'm going to read a couple of texts just to set the mood for people. Dirty Curdy, first one in post-game. Dirty Curdy says, what a pathetic choke job. Skinner couldn't out-goalie an ECHL performance at the other end. Nurse Cece pairing soft all night. Nuge not finishing. What a psychologically damaging loss. Damn it, what did we have? 3 shots all period. McLeod peeing himself anytime a Canuck came around him. Embarrassing. Dirty Curdy with that one. Jeffy says, well, I've said it all year. The Oilers are a guaranteed second-round loss team. I was really hoping they would have proved me right against such a crap team like the Canucks. Jeffy, lots of hockey left to be played, man. Senor Boots says, how does your playoff song go? Stewie Skins is a god. May want to delete that file. Senor Boots. No, we'll hang on to that one. He had a bad night tonight for sure. All right, let's bring him in. Cass, you're gonna get some of these texts tonight. You're gonna hear them. I'm certainly sure you're gonna be all capsing it in the nasty chat, but let's get your overall impression from Edmonton's 5-4 loss, blowing a 4-1 lead. Go for it, Cass.
Well, you can't end up with, I think they ended up crediting them with 4 shots in the third, 4 shots in the second. You're not going to win a hockey game. And, yep, Stuart Skinner didn't help. Tough night for him. Couple tough bounces. That last goal, not pretty. As has been said, McDavid quiet tonight offensively. 0 shots, didn't generate much. Draisaitl banged up. I'm assuming it's his lower back. That's kind of was my take and my read on it. But the Edmonton Oilers got outplayed. The Vancouver Canucks played a tenacious game. They stuck with it. But for the Edmonton Oilers, I mean, you handed it over. You had a 3-goal lead that you maybe didn't deserve, and you didn't lock it down. Vancouver, again, they played that straight line hockey we talked about, Tom. Yep. And they played that game, played it well. Dakota Joshua was a beast tonight. In a lot of ways was the Edmonton Oilers' undoing. But Tommy, I mean, it was ended up being an ugly night, and it's tough. It was a long break. That was a long break, and the Vancouver Canucks had a little bit of a break as well, not quite as long as the Edmonton Oilers. But hey, Vancouver came out, and they, especially as the game got going, they continued to get better over the course of the night, and the Edmonton Oilers just kind of stayed at that same level that they're at from the start of the night. It was not the same quality of play that we saw a lot of that LA series, and the opponent played well and pushed. Edmonton did not have a response. Tom. So, after watching that game, it kind of, my brain goes, I said Oilers in 6, maybe it's an Oilers in 7, because Vancouver looked really good. I think Edmonton has lots better than what we saw tonight, but Vancouver looked really good tonight, played a solid game. Edmonton did not.
Credit where credit is due. Vancouver played, like you said, a really solid game. They stuck with it. They didn't get down when they were losing 4-1, and they bounced back strong. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins hits that post cast on a nice feed from behind the net. If that goes in, I know it's a game of inches. You can't count on luck. But if that goes in, it's a whole different ballgame. Not the case, and we'll make a quick note of that. Play that was also decisive in the game. But, Cass, the way the Oilers played in that third period, how would you sum it up? Because you gave them credit. You talked about the 4 shots.
Yeah.
What is that psychological, like Dirty Curdy pointed out, or what is that?
They were stuck on the outside. Like, how often did the Edmonton Oilers have control of the puck in the middle of the ice? They didn't.
Not at all.
Not at all. Not at all. Vancouver collapsed well, protected the middle well, took away the middle well, and I would say Edmonton started looking for the perfect play. And that's why they weren't shooting the puck. Everything was trying to be the seam play, looking for that backdoor tap in, looking for the pretty play. That just wasn't there because Vancouver was doing a good job of eliminating that and of saying, nope, you're going to have to go through us. You're going to have to create some chaos around the net. And they had, aside from the Ryan Nugent-Hopkins post that you talked about, the only time they had decent looks was when there was chaos around the net, but they did not do a good job of either getting the puck through with their defensemen or just getting the puck to the net in general, even from the forward. So I think a little bit of that trying to play too cute, or a lot of that trying to play too cute, looking for the perfect play. And at times, I think we talked about this on, I don't think we talked about it in the pregame show today, but we talked about it probably when you were on the podcast, or the 2 guys and a goalie. And again, this Tuesday, so I guess yesterday, on 2 guys and a goalie, where, Edmonton's defense was going to have to deal with a lot more pressure.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't think they dealt with it fantastic tonight. They did not deal with it. They did not generate off the rush because of it. And Tommy, again, I think what ultimately sunk them was just trying to be too cute and looking for the perfect play.
780-218-9999. Text us your thoughts, man. I pumped into the nasty chat, and it was just going on fire.
It's flying.
Unbelievable. The Oilers blow a 4-1 lead, lose 5-4 in Game 1 to the Vancouver Canucks. That was Vancouver's 3rd win in the playoffs all time against Edmonton. All of those coming in Vancouver, playing in Edmonton. Lots of hockey left to be played, but a lot of people super pissed off. A lot of people jumping to conclusions. I'm going to read some text. Here we go. Conroe, Texas says, well, I've said all year the Oilers are guaranteed second round loss team, hoping they wouldn't prove me right. Again, I'll reiterate to Conroe, Texas, lots of hockey left to be played here. Mm-hmm. We'll see how they bounce back on Friday. Stamp Hater says the reason McDavid had a quiet night was because the puck was headed toward his end the second it touched Janmark's stick. I like Janmark for his penalty killing, but he should be nowhere else but 4th line. I did really think, I didn't think that Janmark on the top line thing would last. Cass, why stick with it? Why go to it?
I don't know. I mean, you're going to it because you're trying to, maybe you're thinking, well, we want to keep the Kane and Perry line together. We've liked that line, so you're trying to slide Janmark around, but it didn't work. It didn't work. Hopefully Henrique's back next game. That kind of shows even just one player that's not like a core main player, but how much impact that can have on you. And from a line standpoint for this Edmonton Oilers, I mean, it shows you why they went out and got Adam Henrique, because it made their top 6 lots better. And again, I think they missed them tonight. And that's Janmark has done some great things, but I like Janmark on the 4th line, not playing top line minutes. I can't disagree with that text. The reason he had no shots was the puck was heading back to their own end. Yep. That very, very true. Very, very true. Or when they had it, it was trying to look for the perfect play, which then sent the puck coming back to their own end.
Cass, you can moonlight Matthias Janmark against the Columbus. You can moonlight him against the San Jose and Arizona and hide him in there, and he'll look good and put together a few nice games. But you can't do it against the Vancouver Canucks in the second round of the playoffs and expect the same type of performance and output offensively. Janmark didn't even have offensive output this year. He was He had one good week offensively and then was lauded for his defensive game, which I appreciate, but that's not a first-line player, especially in the postseason. I would say that's a miss on Chris Knobloch and the coaching staff's part. 100%.
Agreed.
Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. Cass and I agree on the Janmark top line thing. No bueno. Don't do that again. Switch it up or hope that Adam Henrique is good to go. Let's go to Shaggy in St. Albert. Shaggy in St. Albert with this one. Oilers-style choke job in the playoffs. McDavid disappeared for this game. 0 shots for most of the third period. Draisaitl most likely now playing injured. Up 4-1 and lose. Not just a loss, but a series-defining loss that now shows Vancouver that they can win the series. Well done, Oilers. Worst way to lose the first game. As I've said, put up or shut up. They should shut up. 0-5 versus Vancouver this year. So looks like regular season did matter. I disagree with the last point that Shaggy and St. Albert made. I still don't think that the regular season matters in regard to this matchup. I think the Oilers did themselves in. I'll reiterate that again. I do not think that this is a series-defining loss, Cass. I will show my work. We saw the Florida Panthers get their asses absolutely handed to them in Game 1 by the Boston Bruins. In Game 2, they go and they do the same to the Boston Bruins, so they return the favor. And on top of that, they get super physical with them. So one game is not a series, especially Game 1, Cass. If you think I'm crazy about it, let me know. What do you say to Shaggy and St. Albert about the
they're not won or lost. They're not won or lost in one game. They're not. They're not. If Edmonton wins the next game, if they win Game 2, all of a sudden we're looking at this and we're going, yeah, we're happy with the split. We're happy with the split. You get a split against a good team in the playoffs, on the road, in their building. You'd be fine with that. Like if you asked anyone in that dressing room, hey, before the series, hey, if you come out 1-1 after playing 2 games in Vancouver, how'd you feel about that? Most guys would be like, well, yeah, obviously we would have liked 2, but that's good. We'd be happy with that heading back home, especially with how well Edmonton has played at home in the playoffs generally and throughout the season at home generally. So no reason to freak out. I think it's totally fair to criticize a team to say they blew it. They blew it, man. They blew it. They had a 3-goal lead, and they let Vancouver walk all over them. And you want to give Vancouver credit for that because they pushed, and they pushed, and they pushed, and Edmonton didn't push back. So great job by Vancouver. Edmonton's got a lot more. So now, Tom, if they were to lose this series, we might look back at this and say, yeah, they should have had it. They had a 3-goal lead and they dropped it. This was a major reason, a major game, major time as to just factoring into the series as a whole. But after one game, I don't think we can call it that.
No, if anything, it should piss the Oilers off because A, they shot themselves in the foot. B, their goalie better be better on Friday because he did not help the cause. He made a couple nice saves. I think of the Lindholm one, but he didn't make the ones that he needed. I really don't like that Connor Garland goal, Cass. I really do not like the JT Miller goal.
Nope.
And then the one from behind the net was garbage as well. So 3 of those are on Stu Skinner. He needs to appreciate and learn and be thankful for these lessons, as he likes to say, and learn from them. Put up or shut up, like Shaggy and St. Albert likes to tell us. 780-218-9999. Keep those texts coming in. We're going to get to as many as you can. Cass will take as many questions. If you have any technical stuff you want to ask in terms of strategy and systems work, we'll bounce those off of Cass for sure. And, of course, get into the nasty chat. If anything gets a little bit crazy in the nasty chat, let us know, and we will clean it up because that can happen in an emotional series between 2 bitter rivals in Game 1. Okay, Cass, let's go to the next couple of texts here. Mike in Thunder Bay stayed up for that. He says, I expected the main difference of this series to come down to experience. I thought the Oilers would be the resilient team, but you can't blow a 4-1 lead in the playoffs. Still confident the Oilers will win the series, but what a missed opportunity. Oilers need to be ashamed of their effort tonight. Mike in Thunder Bay. I will agree with the ashamed of the effort. I will also say for the last 30 minutes, because Cass, that was a pretty good start. And here's a quick silver lining, and I'm not trying to get the orange and blue pom-poms out here. I'm going to just say this, Cass. If the Canucks are going back to Artur's Shilovs, that's a major opportunity for Edmonton because he did not look good at all.
No, he didn't. He didn't look good at all. That being said, Stuart Skinner didn't look good at all either.
Touché.
Yeah, but certainly we have seen, and even in this playoffs, we've seen Stuart play very well. And I know people are freaking out and they're worried and panicking because that's what we do, and that's what we do here. But we've seen him play good hockey, and I'm not concerned. This is coming off a long break. He'll be much more dialed in game 2, and I think the team as a whole will be. But yeah, should they be ashamed of dropping that? Yeah,
yep.
Without question,
they
should be. You had a 3-goal lead. Yeah. You had a 3-goal lead, and you let it fall apart on you. And you didn't make it difficult for Vancouver to get those goals. You didn't make it difficult for them to play. You did, however, make it difficult for yourself with trying to do too much in the offensive zone, too many through plays, not just getting the puck to the net against a goalie that was very, very shaky in Vancouver.
Okay, let's go to CMAC here. CMAC says, is this team allergic to shooting the puck? The number of turnovers due to quote-unquote pretty plays in the offensive zone is disturbing. Connor knows he got 100 assists, right? Shoot the puck. Nurse looked horrendous, not getting pucks out when needed. -3. It's one game. Hope the lessons were learned. EA texting in says, there he is. Second round, Stuart Skinner's back. 3 and 2 minutes, 2 and 40 seconds. Outclassed by an inexperienced goalie. Edmonton in 5. I don't think so, says EA. Tuna Melt with this one. They are the Vancouver Canucks, not the Red Army. What a choke job. Absolutely brutal. Tuna Melt, a lot of people agree, myself included. Peter says, Nurse, CC Kulak, and Desharnais were terrible tonight. We won't win the series if these guys do not figure it out. Tay says, Nurse had a terrible game. He got caught standing still on the Garland goal. He left Miller open on the third goal, stood in front of the net for the second goal. Not impressed. That one from Tay. Rip City Step just says, Team of Destiny. Okay, let's go into the defense here because lots of Nurse and CC, lots of Nurse in particular. I'm not going to disagree with people on this night. We defend him when we think he's good. We do not defend him when we think he's bad. CC and Nurse, a combined -6, Cass. I know CC gets the goal. That's fantastic. 2 shots between them. No hits. None. In 18 minutes plus of work. Nurse closer to 19. CC 18 and a half. Give me your rundown of that pairing tonight.
Well, it's not going to be a great rundown, is it? You end up -3.
And that's fine.
And that's fine. Yeah, Darnell Nurse didn't look like Darnell Nurse looked in the Los Angeles series. A little sporadic, I would say, a little bit of sprawly, and a little bit lost. And Cody Ceci, a little bit of the same. If you do look at that goal against the bounce off the backboards, there was some hesitation there instead of getting back to that post by Ceci where, he could have been there, could have got a stick in. You don't like that either, but you can't, Tom, you can't be -3 in the playoffs, have one of your top pairings -3. You can't and expect to win. I thought they struggled with the pressure. They struggled to move the puck cleanly with the pressure and to deal with it. Granted, they didn't get much help from the forward group and from the guys they were playing with, turning pucks over in the offensive zone and creating a situation where there was a lot of speed pushing back at them. But they didn't deal with that speed well. I would say, if I was going to sum it up, I would say they did a poor job of protecting the middle of the ice tonight. They did a poor job protecting the middle of the ice. They didn't push pucks outside, didn't keep bodies outside, and they got beat back to the front of the net a couple times, and that cost them.
I will say the cherry on top too, Cass, because I wholeheartedly agree with you. But the cherry on top is when they didn't protect the middle and they didn't get support from the forwards, like you mentioned, they didn't get a simple save either from the goaltender. Simple as that. Collingwood Rob with this one says, hey, Tom and Cass, there is a lot of rust on Skinner, Bouchard, Draisaitl, McDavid tonight. However, this loss could bode well for the Oilers in the long run with no lead being safe. Remember, it's not a series until the home team loses a game. Collingwood Rob, I like it. Thank you. Let's go to Mark. Says, absolutely embarrassing third period. Edmonton continues to show a lack of maturity in huge games with the lead when it matters. McLeod, Perry, Fogle, Kane may as well have watched the game from the rafters. All right, Cass, your take on those four players that Mark brought up. McLeod, Perry, Fogle, Kane. Let's get some stats on them from tonight just to give you an idea, paint a bit of a picture. No dash for Kane, but zeros across the board except for one shot and 4 hits, 13:28 time on ice. McLeod, dash even actually, 1 shot, 3 hits, 16:08 time on ice. And who else do we have on there? Fogle, right? Fogle, 1 shot, 3 hits, 13:17. And where's the last one? Perry. Corey Perry, who we're expecting more from, especially in the postseason. Dash 1, no shots, 2 hits, 10:15 time on ice. Guys who are supposed to be important secondary players. Kane should be a top 6 guy, is a top 6 guy generally, but they got a lot of zeros in those columns, Cass, tonight.
Yep, a lot of zeros, and Dakota Joshua outplayed them all.
Yes.
Dakota Joshua outplayed them all. You know, you're a guy that's your big physical guy that's going to be around the net, that's going to try to create some chaos. It's going to be physical. That's what Perry and Kane are supposed to be. And Dakota Joshua did it better. He did it better. He was physical tonight. He was engaged. He was around the net. Ends up with 3 points, a goal and 2 assists. So he was involved, and those other guys weren't for Edmonton. So yeah, I mean, McLeod, a couple things. He beat out Nicing once with his speed. Didn't do much aside from that, and those other guys really didn't either. I thought there was one look I thought Kane had, couldn't quite get the puck through in the third, where he kind of had a handle on it in the slot. But aside from that, that group was largely ineffective, as was most of the forward group outside of those guys. But yeah, at the bottom line, I would say is Dakota Joshua in particular, and I'm picking him out because he had a fantastic game.
Yeah.
He outplayed them. And those guys, Kane in particular, he has to outplay Dakota Joshua. I mean, that's the two. When we're looking at the physical guys that can play that kind of power forward game, be hard to play against, physical on the forecheck, around the net, trying to find garbage around the net, creating some chaos. That's what Evander Kane is supposed to do. He didn't have it so much tonight. Dakota Joshua did, and the rest of the guys too. Fogel's Fogle. Yeah, tonight.
Not
that's
good.
I mean, it's
not good.
Yeah,
not good. Safety Bob texting in. Safety Bob says, as soon as Nugent Hopkins hit the post to seal it, all I could think of was, it's Nashville all over again. Juan getting into the inbox saying, hey, feel sorry for you tonight, Tom and Matt. That was a long week for everyone. Can't believe I waited a week to watch that. Thank you, Juan. That's appreciated. Number 36, Justin says, Tommy, been a while. Normally I would swear up a storm, but no. 22 years of not doing the extras to win. It's no surprise. They want it more. Let's go to Ryan in Saskatchewan. Says, no excuse for what we just witnessed. Nurse and Cece, absolutely horrible. So many passengers up front. Skinner, not good. Leon's situation doesn't look good either. Yikes. Ryan from Sask. Cass, we watched TD Force go over to Leon Draisaitl in the second period. Looked like he was testing some spots on his back. You could see Draisaitl say, it's my back. He goes out there, does a quick twirl, goes off the ice. Jeff Lang, head equipment manager, tells Chris Knobloch about the situation. It was late in the period, and then Draisaitl back out for the third.
He looked uncomfortable in the third, too.
Yeah, he did. Maybe a bit stiffer. Listen, we're not doctors, but you played in the NHL. You've dealt with injuries. You dealt with them in-game. What's your best educated guess on the situation with the information we have before us?
Which is not much, and they're probably not going to give us much, so we're going to be speculating. My best guess, as I told you, Tommy, was I think it was something in his lower back.
Yeah.
Whether it's spasm or pulled something, that would be my assessment based on what we saw and the conversation and where TD was kind of looked like he was poking around back there and trying to read lips, which who knows, not great at that, but it looked like he was talking about his back. And that affects you. That affects everything you do on the ice. So whether it's, and oftentimes when that happens, it's not the lower back is a symptom. It's not the root cause. Like you usually be hips or groin or something like that. Something tightens up a little bit or responds, and your lower back tries to overcompensate, and then all of a sudden your lower back's gone. Now, when your lower back's gone, really hard to do anything because it sucks. I know you've had that happen. I have had that happen. It is not fun and not easy. Now, I don't know. Who knows what they did? Did they just try to stretch it out a little bit? Did they try to massage it out a little bit? Did they freeze it? We don't know. We're probably not going to get told. Is that something that could go away in a day or two? Potentially, but it still could be a potential lingering issue, which will be a challenge. But that's part of the playoffs, and we've seen Leon playing hurt, power through things before. The difference in being, if it's something with your core, which your back would kind of fall into that, a lot tougher to lean on guys, a lot tougher to take hits, to give hits, to do some of the things that Leon does really well when he's playing well and when we see him dominant. So it'll be interesting. We're probably not going to get much. They're probably not going to tell us much. They're going to be like, yeah, he bugged something, maybe upper body injury. That's probably all they're going to tell us. But if I was betting on this, and I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I would probably say it's a lower back spasm of some sort.
Back spasms suck. Mm-hmm. I've dealt with them. Like you said, you've dealt with them. You and I were talking about that, speculating, obviously. The only bit of information that I can pass along is that Leon Draisaitl was requested to speak post-game, and it was indicated to us that Connor McDavid would be speaking instead of Draisaitl because Draisaitl was getting treatment from the trainers. Really no surprise, but nope. If you're wondering, that was what we were given post-game from an Edmonton media standpoint. 780-218-9999. You can text us if you're listening on iHeartRadio, tune in, or on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. And then if you're watching, you can get at us via the Nasty Chat. The Nasty Chat, I've looked in there. Dusty's handling things. He's watching over it. The texts are just flying in on both sides. We're going to get to as many as we can. A lot of frustration after that loss, blowing a 3-goal lead, 4-1. The Oilers were up at 1 point, 5-4. No answer for the Canucks, especially in the third period. Super frustrating. A quick smack in the face right off the hop for all of Oil Country. Live on location, I should add, to at Hudson's Bourbon Street. It was an absolutely tremendous time. Big thank you to the staff, Adam and the whole crew, Megan, fantastic. The Oilers providing the bummer tonight. Outside of that, an absolutely tremendous time. Thank you to all the AM Nasties who showed up tonight. Cass, but there's no clips available just yet. Trev is working on them, so you're good for a few more minutes at least? Yeah, that's a yes.
How can you not be? How can you not be?
Everybody's fired up.
Yeah, everyone's fired up. I'm fired up too.
Okay. Good. As you should be, because we've been waiting for a damn week for this game, and then we saw something crazy go down in a blown 3-goal lead. So, without further ado, let's go to Byron, who texts in, says, Nurse, CC, terrible, -3 each. Hesitant, looked out of place. Vancouver, they went after the Oilers' star players. Refs didn't call one other than the too many men. Now, Skinner was terrible. Cannot let that tying goal. One shot in 23 minutes. 29 looks like he cannot engage in the play. Byron ends this text with, bottom line, can the Oilers beat this team? Honest question. Byron out of Winnipeg. I would say yes, Cass, they can. They showed it for 30 minutes and then laid an egg the rest of the way. Is that fair?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. They laid an egg the rest of the way. They weren't very good. No, they were not very good. To the point on the text on the power plays. Yep. Edmonton didn't do enough to deserve more power plays. They played perimeter in the offensive zone. Like, what did they do to force Vancouver to hook, to hold, to grab, to try to, get an advantage, to slow them down? Like, they didn't do enough because they were too perimeter, threw too many pucks away, too many turnovers. They didn't force the issue to where they forced Vancouver to take penalties. So you can't blame the rest for it. They didn't deserve it. They didn't earn it.
Really quickly, I'll bounce this off of you. Do you think that their lack of digging in especially when the going got tough and Vancouver was starting to chip away at that lead. Do you think it was because of how easy, quote unquote, the first half of the game was?
Potentially. But even that, I mean, and I know we said they were all right the first half, but Vancouver still had the better opportunities. Like they scored more goals, but Vancouver had some good opportunities in Edmonton. The opportunities were okay, but there wasn't great goaltending on the other side. So it's not like they were dominant in the first 30 minutes. Now, maybe they were up 3 goals. And I think that's when Vancouver was like, all right, we got work to do. And Edmonton was just kind of like, we're up 3 goals. It's going to be what it is. And we can just, we're going to score again, or, this game's over. We got them. We got this, but they just didn't force the issue. Listen, that last 30 minutes, Tommy, was ugly. It was ugly and not ugly if you're a Vancouver Canucks fan. It was a great 30 minutes and rightfully so to look at that. They were dominant for 30 minutes in that hockey game.
Simple as that. Keep those texts coming in. Let's go. More of them. We've got so many to get to. People still fired up, angry, upset, disappointed, brokenhearted, all of those things because of how the Oilers let that one slide. They had it, man. And they let it go and did themselves in, shot themselves in the foot. Whatever cliches we want to use, they all apply tonight, certainly against the Edmonton Oilers. Paco says, never mind Skinner. How do we not get a shot on net until 22 minutes after the fourth goal? Canucks just played harder. Cass, you said it before, I think, even the third goal. You're like, this is on 16 minutes to get their first shot, I think, in the third period.
16 in the third, and it was 22 minutes in between from when they scored that fourth. Right after they scored that fourth, Vancouver just went out and worked, and Edmonton just threw the puck around. And I don't want to say they panicked, but they didn't deal with the pressure. When they had the puck, they gave it away, and they didn't get pucks to the net. They did not do. Edmonton did not do anything that they do when they're successful as a team. They threw that out the window. And just reverted to not good hockey.
KL getting in on the action. KL texting in saying, hey, guys, the Oilers reading their own press clippings again. I thought we were going to steal a game with how bad we played, but they imploded instead. That 5-4 goal was gross. Skinner has got to have that. 0 shots for most of the third, and that Lindholm line were absolutely dominating the Oilers all game. I hope Draisaitl is okay. Only thing to do is to wipe that from the memory and put some more urgency into game 2. That text from KL. Barry getting in on the action. Barry says, I fear the Oilers have given the Canucks the confidence that they need to win the series. Kyle says, better assume that the world is ending. It wasn't as bad as the haters think. Plus, the guy in Vancouver counting shots was sleeping for 3 periods. Fergie's Prostate says, Tommy, the wings and the peach sour were great. Made up for the loss. Fergie's Prostate, always a pleasure to have you, sir. Thank you for stopping by. And I don't mind when you give me the middle finger on the way out. I take it as a badge of honor. Big Slam Nasty says, do you think someone else gets a sniff on the first line, or do they load 97 and 29 Friday night? And Tommy, do you accept direct billing for my benefits? You are Oilers therapy for a lot of nasties. We love doing this. Thank you, Big Slam Nasty. We appreciate it. Cass, let's get to this question that Big Slam Nasty said. Do we think someone else gets a sniff on the first line? I'll say yes. Yeah. Who would you put up there?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of hoping it gets back to how it was before. Like if Henrique is ready to go, if he slides back in, then you can tweak things around a little bit up there. So we'll have to see if Henrique's not back, Tommy. That's the question. So
okay.
If Henrique's
let's talk about that. Go ahead, finish the thought, but let's talk about that question, like you said.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm trying to think here. So, if he's not back, because I think that's the bigger question is if he's not back, you're probably not gonna. I hope they don't put Janmark back there.
You can't. You simply cannot now. You can't.
You simply cannot. I mean, would you take a peek at moving Evander Kane around potentially? If that were to be the case, maybe. Would you try sliding Ryan McLeod up there and having Dylan Holloway slide into the center position? Is that something you might look at? Maybe. I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't try that today with how the offense was going, where there just wasn't anything there to say, okay, let's move Ryan McLeod up there, or move Evander Kane up there and slide Ryan McLeod into the wing spot in the third line. I don't know why they didn't try moving that around, but I think that might be it for me. I might say, okay, you could probably slide Kane up, move McLeod to the third line, and go with it from there. But I don't know. Yeah, not. I don't. A lot tougher without Adam Henrique in the lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cass, everything you suggested, even though you're not completely sold on some of those quick thoughts that you put together there on the spot, are better than Matthias Janmark.
Yeah.
Begrudgingly sliding Kane up or Holloway or McLeod.
Yeah.
All of those options are more viable than Matthias Janmark on the top line left wing. I was even going to throw Warren Foegele, who's been limited in what he's been able to do. He, demoted, let's call it, to the fourth line. His ability to generate, complement offensive players, create offense is vastly superior to Matthias Janmark's.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yep.
Any of those are better options. Any of those. So again, we'll say it. That was a miss on the coaching staff's part to put Janmark there and stick with him. Any one of those options is better. 65% health with Adam Henrique is better than Matthias Janmark on the top line.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I fully expect them to change it. Anything is better. If you're Kane, get your ass going. If you're Foegele, take the opportunity and do something with it. I don't think he's been horrible. I just don't think he's been that effective. He's a 20-goal scorer this year. So, anyway, you can't have Janmark on the top line in Game 2.
Nope.
Simple.
Nope. Cannot. No, cannot.
Big Slime Nasty.
I'd be shocked if he was, but you can't.
You can't.
You can't. I don't know how you could. I don't know how you could.
West End Rob says, boys, Oilers beat themselves again. Good teams don't gift playoff games. Yes, West End Rob, that is true, but good teams have done it. I point to Florida and Boston. Florida gets dummied in Game 1 and bounces back and does the same and returns the favor to Boston in Game number 2. Let's go to Mike from Calgary. Says, Tommy, the team didn't deserve to win based on the effort, but they had it. Wasted one. They don't learn. Ugly. Bring on Friday. Let's go. McLeod is softer than Schauger. Nice, Mike from Calgary. There's a nice little comedic respite for tonight. And then Mike from Calgary adds, after watching this absolute disaster, I had an epiphany. Maybe the Oilers were playing chess while the Canucks were playing checkers. Am I right? Oilers, gentlemen, sweep incoming. I don't know about that, Mike from Calgary. I think we're in for a good series. I think still at least 6 games. And Mike from Calgary also throws in, if Henrique's back, the question is Dry's status. I think Draisaitl will try to tough it out.
He'll play. He'll play. He'll play. It's just what level are you going to get him at?
Yeah. Good point. Cal in the Park says, evening, guys. Said to my wife earlier tonight that whichever goaltender gives up the least amount of bad goals wins. Vancouver out-hustled the Oil tonight. Spruce Grove Rick, don't make excuses for 97. He has had a year where one game the best on the planet, the next Mr. Ordinary. Spruce Grove Rick, brother of Leduc.
Did we make excuses for him?
No, we're not making. No, not at all.
I think we made excuses for anybody tonight. And for all those in the nasty chat, they're like, quit blaming Janmark on the loss. It's not yet. We're not blaming the loss on him. We're saying, they didn't
he shouldn't be on the first line.
Shouldn't be on the first line. That's not saying it's Janmark's fault they lost. It wasn't Janmark's fault they lost. It was a conglomerate of the forwards not playing well. We didn't once blame the game on Janmark, but saying that, hey, he was on the top line didn't get anything done, and he's not a guy that's going to help get anything done on the top line is a completely fair statement, and they're completely different things. So just enough with the quit blaming Janmark talk.
You summed that up nicely.
Yeah, Jack Lou, Janmark is a scapegoat because McDavid had a bad game. Can't blame Golden Boy. He might leave town.
He's not. Skinner was bad. Defense was bad.
No, McDavid didn't generate much. And, you didn't help him by having Janmark on the line.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're just saying, like, you can't
We're saying,
have Janmark on the first line in the second round of the playoffs against a good Vancouver team.
Against a good Vancouver team. No.
It don't work. And it didn't tonight.
It don't. Yeah. I want Janmark on the fourth line. Good fourth line player. Solid defensive fourth line player. Great penalty killer. Not a first line player. That's what we're saying. Get him off the first line.
We all know
blaming the game on Janmark. It's all no. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. This is the best part of the year when you get the emotions. Tough night in oil country for sure, but people are feeling it. That's why we do this. Keep those coming in. 780-218-9999. Chief Andy via the nasty chat. I like this one a lot. Cass, I think you can appreciate it. Says Skinner needs Struddy's glasses. Struddy has glasses now, if you didn't know. Yeah. All right. A couple more texts. And we're going to get Cass's thoughts and look ahead to game number 2. Edmonton falls 5-4 at the hands of the Canucks, blowing a 4-1 lead. Ugly. Let's go to Al. Al says, Tommy, remember when I told you about Nurse Cece and support it with numbers? Remember Cass saying the Oilers' defense would fall apart with Cece? Here's some more stats for you. Nurse Cece outscored by Colorado and Vegas last 2 playoff years, 15-3. Oilers not winning with this pair, period. They just aren't. Also, Knobloch with the horrendous decision to play Janmark on the first line, then showing McClellan-level stubbornness, not moving away from it. Love him as a PKer and fourth liner. He killed plays on the first line. Also, Canucks only got a too many men on the ice penalty all game. Tocchet's pregame whining worked. And Al adds in, this year, when Nurse Cece are on the ice, they have a 30% goal share. When those two are off the ice, the Oilers have 60% of the goal share. Last 2 playoff seasons, outscored 15-3. Huge problem. So Al hates Nurse Cece and throws the numbers to support. He showed his work, Cass.
No, he did. Listen, they had a stretch where they were, this season in particular, where they were horrible. They were horrible together, and that's where we saw them change some of the deep pairings up, where they were trying for different looks. And then towards the end of the season, they started, put them back together, and they actually played quite well down the stretch, where their numbers were better down the stretch. There was a good chunk of the season where, they did struggle, 100%, absolutely. Yeah. And they struggled again tonight.
Exactly. Let's go to Randy. Hey, Randy says, I'd go so far to say that after Hyman's first goal, the final 3 were fortunate in the way they were deflections off of Canucks defenders. And you can agree to that because if those were goals and scored, they'd be lucky breaks, shocking the lack of urgency by the Oilers once they got up 4-1. But specifically after the 4-2 goal, that should have turned some heads and buckled down. Randy, I agree with everything you said tonight. I'm behind you on that one, pal. Thank you for the text. Spills. Okay, a couple more casts, and then we'll do the look ahead. Spills says that glove out of the zone right before the 4th Vancouver goal is a penalty or what? Would have prevented the 4th goal. Maybe have been 5-3 if the Oilers scored properly. Cass, he didn't cup his hand on it. I know he just batted it and threw it out.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a penalty.
I didn't think it was. If he closed his hand on it, it would have been a penalty, but I don't think he closed his hand on it. So it shouldn't have been a penalty. It was the right call.
Yeah. Okay, two more. This one says, Tom and Cass, I need to put in a missing persons report. McLeod, Fogle, Perry, nowhere to be found. Hey. If someone sees them, please return them to the Edmonton Oilers. And didn't Calgary win game 1 2 years ago, 9-6, and the Oilers came back to win 4 straight? That did happen.
I don't think that's going to happen against Vancouver. They're a good team. Yeah. I think you're in for a 6 or 7 game series. It's going to be a series.
Yep.
It is going to be a series.
Battle.
Yep.
All right, let's go to cards, and then let's go to Cass to wind things down on his end, and we will continue on. We will get to post-game clips when we have them available to us. Until then, we will continue on and keep your texts coming in. Lots of rust, Card says. As expected, let's hope for a better effort Friday. We caught a break by getting some lucky ones on them, but unfortunately, we were on the brunt end of the luck as well. The hockey gods giveth, and they taketh.
Yeah. There were 2 bounces, Tom. Like I don't know, like the shot off the back wall on the Joshua goal. great bounce, also great play. I think it's
Yeah.
a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But that was, you still a fortuitous bounce to a certain extent where it ends up there. Joshua reads a play, good play, and he's able to finish.
Yes.
And then on the, I think it was the Lindholm goal where it was
I hated that goal.
I didn't like it, but still a fortuitous bounce where that wasn't the play they were looking for. It wasn't the pass, gets a bounce off a Skinner stick and it goes in. So I get why you hated it, but it was like, yeah, well, a couple of the goals were semi-fortunate bounces for the Vancouver Canucks. With that being said, Edmonton didn't earn their own bounces, and the other ones, Vancouver they earned those goals. Like they did, and they outplayed Edmonton. They outplayed Edmonton for majority of that game.
Cass, let's take a look at the game number 2, Friday night, back in Vancouver. I know it's going to be a raucous crowd. Nervous energy, I would say, from Oil Country, probably, and tentativeness, understandably so. But if you're the Oilers, how are you approaching this? What do you do to regroup, especially considering the injury situation now? Draisaitl, could he be out? I doubt it, but how are you looking at this, and how do they look to bounce back?
Well, they don't turn over so many bloody pucks in the middle of the ice. Don't try to be too fancy. Get back to the simplistic north-south game that when they play very well. Get pucks to the net, get bodies to the net. Anytime they did that tonight, Tom, there was pucks there. There was opportunities. We'll have to see on Leon. I'm assuming he's going to play. What level he's going to play at, that will remain to be seen. Depends on exactly what it is and how fast he can recover, or what they can do with it, or how they can freeze it. But I do expect a much better Edmonton Oilers team. And I expect Vancouver to make a push. They're going to look at this and they're going to go, we win 2 in our building. We got a good hold on this series. So what do I expect on Friday? I expect a tighter hockey game in a lot of ways, from both teams. I think Vancouver's going to try to do the same thing, and Edmonton, they can't have passengers. They had way too many passengers tonight, and I expect them. I would hope that they bring a game that's just a much higher pace with more offensive opportunity.
They got smacked tonight, Cass. That's a huge wake-up call for sure. Hey, you were fantastic. Unlike the Oilers tonight, consistent, brought it all night long. That's why you're the best, my friend. And
Thanks,
I look
buddy.
forward to doing it again on Friday. You and I and Gager for 2 guys and a goalie tomorrow. Look forward to that as well. Dusty's off to call the WHL final between Portland and Moose Jaw. Cass, good night, sir. Be well. Talk to you tomorrow.
Absolutely, buddy. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
That's our game analyst, Matt Kassian, helping us break down Edmonton's 5-4 loss at the hands of the Vancouver Canucks to open up the second round series. Edmonton down 1-0. Can't lose those types of games. You cannot shoot yourself in the foot. That's your one, Edmonton. That's your one. Not again. Not again in this series. Hopefully, if you're an Oilers fan, not again in this postseason. 780-218-9999. Text us. Nasty Chat. Continue to do your thing. Hit the thumbs up if you don't mind. A big day today. We hit 8,000 subscribers on YouTube. Fantastic. A huge thank you to everybody who supported Edmonton Sports Talk. Oh, there we go. Trev, I'm good. Am I back? Sorry about that.
Yeah, we're set. We're set, Tommy.
Okay, sorry. Did it cut out there? My bad.
It was coming from this end. The stream just we lost our connection, but we're back now. We're set.
Okay, we're all good. Okay, let's get YouTube Trev on here. Let's get some thoughts from Trev. We do need to get to the big save of the game, brought to you by Chris Boyle. I saw Chris Boyle today. Great to see him and Fiona and Chris's girlfriend Jess. Fantastic to actually touch base with them. And do you want to give your thoughts first, and then we'll do the Christopher Boyle big save of the game?
Yeah, Tommy, is that button all ready? Is that button ready for me? Yeah.
This
there
one?
we go. Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I mean, yeah, you guys, you discussed pretty well everything tonight, Tommy. Like the question of the night was, will there be a little bit of rust? And I didn't think there was going to be going in, and you called it. You said that there was going to be, and that I think that was on full display for the first little bit. I think the Oilers got lucky with their chances. Shilov's he stood on his head in a few of those games. Zach Hyman, the goal that he got, not
a good goal.
Not a good goal at all. So the goals that they even got past Shilov's were kind of they're on the perimeter, or there was that weak one there. So. man, it's tough. Like, and I think that obviously it's fairly obvious, Tommy. That's why the Nasties are very distraught tonight. They had this one. They did,
They had it.
And that's why it's so frustrating. Like, taking game one in Vancouver, that would have been huge. That would have been like, the boys would have been, their confidence would have been, just incredibly high. So that sucks. And as far as, the no-shows, it sucked because I said in the pregame, I'm like, it's all going to start with McDavid. McDavid's he's going to lead by example as he usually does. And for the first time in his career in the playoffs, McDavid held without a shot. So that's not something that I'm not expecting that's going to be the case for game two. But I mean, is it kudos to the Canucks, or is it just McDavid having an off night? I don't know. But man, it was just tough. And then as far as the physicality, obviously there comes a time to be physical, right? It can lead to being out of position and whatnot. But I think the Vancouver Canucks were just mighty fine with their physicality tonight, Tommy. And you look at the defense, there's only two defensemen that had hits tonight, and that's Evan Bouchard and Matthias Ekholm. So, and you look at Dylan Holloway, he led the team with 7 hits. I don't know if you want your rookie leading the team, so there's that to look at as well. But I mean, Vancouver, they're a tremendous team. I said it in the pregame show, they can whip the puck around, probably as good as any team in the NHL. And we saw that. We it was on full display. The power play, yeah, it's nice that the Oilers, the penalty kill is continuing to, just be dominant. But as far as Matthias Janmark being on the first line, that's what are we doing? That's obviously going to be a change. And it's obviously you guys said it. If Henrique's in the lineup, that's not going to be the case. They wouldn't be in this position. But going forward, right? You have Leon Draisaitl in that third period, Tommy. He looked rough. His strides, you could tell he was his full stride. He wasn't even close to top speed. And even when he was going, he was really favoring something. So that's going to be a concern because you can probably replace Adam Henrique. It might not be fully, but you're not going to replace Leon Draisaitl, right?
No.
So it's tough. It's tough. It really this one hurt as we can see in the Nasties. This one was tough, man. So back to the drawing board. It's game one. I thought you brought up a really, really good point, Tommy, with the Florida Panthers. They crapped the bed in game one, and they dummied them tonight, right? So things can change, and it's only a matter of time.
Well said, YouTube, Trev. Well said. Let's go into the nasty chat before we get into the big save of the game. I knew there would be some Canucks fans getting in here. It doesn't look like it got too wild or anything like that, but I think it was Mark who said that was a big moment for his city. Oh, man. Nasty chat's been moving so fast. I lost the spot. It just hums.
You can't keep up with it, Tommy.
No, I can't. JS says, Tommy, keep blaming Janmark, but Jeff Skinner is the problem. Coilers hold the L. We're not blaming Janmark. We're just saying you can't have him on the top line. We're not putting the loss on Janmark. Guys, come on. Phyllis says you don't want McDavid fighting. Really bad idea. So people saying I'm trying to keep tabs on the nasty chat. I'm not up to speed 100% on everything that's been thrown out there. So I'm just trying to keep up with it. Keep those texts going, by the way. Let's get to the big save of the game presented by Christopher Boyle, business owner, tax saver. Take care of your family with Chris Boyle, an experienced advisor with over 17 years of experience. Safeguard yourself and your family with comprehensive coverage for tax-free benefits during hospitalization and or a fracture or broken bone. You'll get benefits paid from day one of the incident, so you don't have to worry about the cost and loss of income due to hospitalization. Preserve your income and protect your paycheck by visiting www.christopherboyle.net. And YouTube, Trev, what is the Christopher Boyle big save of the game?
Yeah, thank you for that, Tommy. It was a huge glove save with 8 minutes left in the third period. It was a timely save at the time because I was like, wow, that could very well have saved the game. Unfortunately, that is not the case, but I mean, I think without a doubt it probably was the nicest save from both goalies. Yeah, and it was against, we talked about Adrian Kempe. He's kind of an Oilers killer. When Elias Lindholm donned the Flames jersey, he was an Oilers killer as well. So he was right it was a high slot shot. I mean, Stuart Skinner, he handled that save very well. It was a sick save, flash in the leather, kind of vintage, something you love to see. So that's going to be the big save of the game. But it could have been bigger if they won, but whatever.
Chief Andy in the nasty chat says, does Christopher Boyle cover third period losses? Well played, Chief Andy. Well played. I'll also toss in the portions of this hour brought to you 100.3 The Bear, Edmonton's best rock. Listen to Nielsen with Yukon Jack and McCord every morning, and tune into Jess Jackson on your way home from work every afternoon. Edmonton falling 5-4 to the Vancouver Canucks, blowing that 4-1 lead. Ugly loss for the Oil. They get outshot 24-18. Third period, actually last half of the second period too, they didn't have a lot of offense generated. So it ends up 24-18 in favor of the Canucks on the shot clock. Face-offs usually pretty good for the Oilers. Not tonight. They lost 63.5% of the draws. Power play 1-for-1, PK 3-for-3, so they win the special teams battle, which is great. The 5-on-5 battle, not great, and then even the 4-on-4 as well. Hits 35-31 in favor of the Canucks. Block shots 12-11 in favor of the Canucks. Giveaways 5 for Vancouver, 4 for Edmonton. Takeaways 9 for the Oilers to 7 for Vancouver. All right, let's get to some more texts as we roll along. It has been a long night, and we still have quite a few to get to. The Liquid Beaver says, we got bullied tonight. I don't like it. Liquid Beaver, I think you got 1.4 million people with you on that one. Ty texting in says, Stu was not great on goals 3 and 5, I think, are the bad ones. Not too much you could do on the others. If the offense is going to disappear after the fourth goal and pack it in, we got to be better at winning the loose puck battles in our zone. I think we lost this game more than Vancouver won it. Ty, first-time texter, great point. Thanks for getting in to the inbox. Let's get your name saved in the database. Beautiful. IMAC is very angry tonight. He starts with, is there a guy that looks less like a hockey player than Garland? I hate it if he scored on me just because of his face. Also, 29, 91, and 55 played well. Can't win with 3. Couldn't have been the cross-checks from Zadorov, could they? And how pathetic was the body on Hughes? All the talk on getting at him. Shaking my head. And IMAX says, pissed away like a $20 lotto win. Love it, IMAC. Thank you. And yes, Connor Garland, very irritating. Earns everything he gets out there. And, Trev, you know what? I was watching him when he was celebrating. I'm like, they let a guy wearing a neck guard score. And I'm not knocking protection. We saw what happened earlier in the year. But you're just like,
I remember the first time ever hearing of this Connor Garland guy. He got shot in the face, and he somehow scored. Yeah, he scored on that play. And I'm like, who the heck is this Connor Garland? And here we are, 5 years later, he's still terrorizing the Oilers. So, yeah, I mean, I haven't seen, the last time I seen a play like that was Jason Spezza, and he scored on Mike Smith, and this was in 2020. And I was like, man, he fooled him. You don't see goals like this often, Tommy.
No.
Never. And the fact that he did that, and you had mentioned the JT Miller one, it's a pretty skilled play, but how are you not hugging the post? You've got to be there. So yeah, those were extremely. Stuart Skinner, he's going to have a hard time falling asleep tonight because those ones he should have had.
Rightly so. Good point, Trev. Let's go to Alex. Says, hey, boys, where's this team's intensity and competitiveness? Standing around, no forechecks. So many players swinging away from checks. McLeod, cough, cough. We fully deserve to lose this game, even in first round. I'm not seeing the expected playoff effort, grit or grind. Alex, good point. I agree with you there. Neil from Nanaimo, a couple of texts from Neil, says, gift-wrapped win for the Oilers, let off the gas as if it was a sure thing, Skinner included, just gave the Canucks more belief that they can win when they had the chance to stomp on them. As disappointing as that is, I think the Oilers win Game 2, and thinking positively, maybe a wake-up call that doesn't mean the end of the playoffs. Step away from the cliff, Oilers fans. Step away from the cliff, Oilers fans. It's early. Skinner is one of the best bounce-back goalies in the league. Thanks for the text, Neil out of Nanaimo. Let's go to Tom Dixon's mustache. Says, holy smokes, Oilers fans. Breathe. It's Game 1. It's a series, not a one and done. I truly think this team changed when Draisaitl was hurt. They started to hang back. I am sure they will come out flying in Game 2. Tom Dixon's mustache. I like the point. Breathe, Oil Country. It's Game 1. Trev, until last series, how many Game 1s had the Oilers won in the postseason in the last couple decades?
I don't even remember. That's how long, Tommy.
They won Game 1 against Anaheim in the second round in 2017. They won Game 1 against Anaheim in 2006 in the conference final. Every other Game 1, they lost.
They had the longest streak going into those playoffs for losing Game 1s, right?
Yes.
Is that not the... Yeah, so...
I believe so.
It's tough. They've always had... And, I mean, you're on the road as well. Like, that building was rocking. Like, that's obviously going to play a factor as well. But, like, the thing that is tough is because, you know, for a lot of people, you're kind of getting convinced, like, wow, this Oilers team can really... They know how to shut it down, and you watched it. The Game 4, was it Game 4 against the Kings? 1-0, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's incredible. And so you're expecting that, you know, it's just you're going into the third period with a 2-goal lead. Like, all you have to do is just defend really well, and that wasn't the case. So that's another point, man. It's just it's tough.
They really didn't do a lot of things well in the second, or late in the second and in the third period. Like, not a lot that you're like, oh, that's fine. No, none of it. Goaltending, not good. Defense, porous. Offense, non-existent. Forecheck, minimal.
And it looks like we have lost Tom Gazzola. So, in the meantime, I will be... there he is. There he is. There's
Ooh,
Tom.
we're getting power surges or something over there.
Yeah,
all
you're
right.
Back now.
Okay, we're good. 780-218-9999. I have a bunch of texts I want to read off. Anything update-wise on interviews? Nothing, hey?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on tonight.
That's okay.
They're taking their sweet time, man.
Yeah, we've been going for over an hour, and there's nothing. We've got a lot of texts to get to. A lot of people pissed off about the Oilers' loss, and rightly so. Big Uke adds, this is the same feeling I had after Game 2, Round 1. It's never as good as the high and never as bad as the lows. Can't win in 6 without a couple losses. Bounce back, get the split, and game on for home ice. Atif. Beautiful voice, Atif. These songs that you keep singing to the boys on their voicemail. You're like Fergie and Jesus. That's how great your voice is. This sucks, Atif says. The Oilers can't sit back on the Canucks. We will get the split on Friday. For now, I'm going to find a 6 o'clocker logger. Cheers to you, Atif. Appreciate it, pal. Thank you as always, my friend. In the words of Homer J. Simpson, quote, I've seen teams suck before, but they were the suckiest bunch of sucks that ever sucked. Unquote. That said, it's not a one-game series. They'll make up for it on Friday. Chris, thank you for the text. Also, like Ty, first-time texter, appreciate you getting in to the inbox. Let's go to Chris Sadaway. Chris Sadaway texts in. Let's see that bad boy load. Says, Skinner stops a breakaway, made several great saves. This is about as lame as your bike lane takes. Chris, we're giving him credit for making a couple of big saves. Absolutely. He got the big save of the game. Brilliant save on Chris Boyle. But three of those goals were crap. I usually defend the goalies, even Jack Campbell, when it's warranted. But Chris, a soft redirection from a bad angle cannot go in. That's JT Miller's goal. A bounce off your own stick and behind you to the side cannot go in. A 1970s move from the smallest guy on the ice, who granted is tenacious, works for everything he's gotten, which I give him full credit for, a 70s move with the fake shot, tucking through your legs where your stick should be, cannot go in. That's 3 goals on Stuart Skinner that had no business being goals. Blame where it is deserved 100%. And I say that by prefacing it with, I usually defend the goalies. I usually defend Stuart Skinner. I can't tonight. Those 3 were unacceptable. Sorry, man. And I know you're saying my hair cream regime is off, thinking through on Skinner, but I'm not jumping on the hate train. I'm just saying those cannot go in. This is the playoffs. You're supposed to elevate. Not everyone's going to be perfect for the entirety of the playoffs. It happens. I also understand that. But those goals cannot go in. That's all I'm saying, Chris. Thank you for the text, though. Northside Sandwich says, hey, Tommy, not at all hockey related and to the game. I'm heading to Sweden this weekend. What's the brand of your Swedish hair cream? I'll buy direct for you. Probably save you some cash. Don't worry. Chantel is on it. Thank you, Northside Sandwich. Enjoy Sweden, buddy. I hear it's absolutely beautiful. 7th best score, it says 4 of first 13 shots go in on an AHL goalie, then they stop generating anything. Shoot the damn puck. That's also a good point. Beer Leaguer Brad, first-time texter, says, so if Vancouver pushed and Oilers didn't push back, then who on the Oilers should push back? Was that what Perry was brought in for? Where has he been this playoffs? Beer Leaguer Brad, we've had that conversation where it's like, Corey Perry, bad night, game 2 against LA. Absolutely. Didn't really do much in that series against LA. We're waiting for him to make a positive impact, and you're 100% right. He was brought in to be a clutch guy and have some big moments at this time of year. Has not popped yet for the Oilers in the playoffs, for sure. Good point. Munchmaster Flex says, what it comes down to is they just made our Thursday suck. I still think the Oilers are the better team. Look at what the Flames series was a couple of years back. They were just bums tonight. Haha. And now our next day will suck because we have to hear chirps from Pigeon Nucks fans. Go Oilers. Munchmaster Flex. JCD780 says, if ref calls that gloving the puck, the Oilers win the game. Herb's Hose says, granted the Oilers played a crap game, but at least you're getting it out of the way early. You're not going to play perfect every night in the playoffs, and the Oilers were not good enough tonight. Silver lining, there's 6 more games in this series. The Oilers are going to be just fine. They'll regroup, and all will be well on Friday. This one says, Canucks absolutely took that game over. No response from Oilers. Analysts that say the D is even, not even close. Canucks major edge. They don't have Nurse and CC. Jasmine says, this sucks, but the Canucks were such cowards. They didn't even reveal their first line until puck drop. I'm rattled regardless. I hate the Canucks so much. Let's learn from this and can't wait to eat their guts out Friday. Jasmine, absolutely vicious. Jasmine's a killer. All right, let's get to the last order of business, and then we'll wind down with a few more texts. Let's get to the Damon Bunting, Remax Elite Player of the Game. Damon Bunting, consistent top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among Western Canadian Remax realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community-driven. Damon understands what it takes to make a difference in our fine city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. And let's go to YouTube Trev for the Player of the Game. All yours, Trev.
Okay, thank you for that, Tommy. I don't want to get too much heat or hate for this, but unfortunately, I'm not going with an Oiler tonight. I can't remember the last time I didn't pick an Oiler, so there's that as well. But yeah, I mean, there's no one on the Oilers that played as good as Dakota Joshua tonight. He was an absolute stud. 1 goal, 2 assists. He got 3 points, and he was a +3 with 14 minutes. And in those 14 minutes, he also got 8 hits. So he was effective in the ozone. Like, he was on all aspects of the game. He was very noticeable tonight in Game 1 against the Preds. He also was really noticeable in that game. He got a goal as well. So yeah, he's one of those players. He wasn't really bringing it or in the regular season, but sometimes you see players in the postseason that rise to the occasion, and looks for the Canucks. Dakota Joshua is that player. So Dakota Joshua gets your player of the game tonight.
Trev, more than warranted.
Yeah, that's fair, right? Yeah. Thank you for that, Tommy.
Well done. Are you crying? I'm just kidding.
No, I'm good.
Let's go to potato salad. Jesse says, as a Dallas fan, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Been there before. There's still game 2. Morgan says, boys dropped the ball, didn't deserve to win. The game felt like 2006. Oilers had no business in the game. Somehow had a 4-1 lead, which they blew. It's okay. They've got this. Brother Morgs. Roger says, who cares about the loss? I'm happy. I got to meet some of the EST crew. Loki, Starstruck, bunch of buttes. Roger, great to meet you. Thank you for coming out. RBM says, hey, Tommy, did Reed happen to text you guys regarding some dumbass who called in with a ridiculous trade proposal? I missed what Buddy said, but Reed shut his ass down ASCP. It was great. RBM, we didn't have to hear from Reed on that one. Usually we share notes on stuff like that because there are some dum-dums out there that get a kick out of stuff like that. We used to take calls at 1260. Reluctantly, it would piss a lot of our listeners off. And we made the conscious decision as a group when we launched EST, even though we have the capability, we would hold off on the phone calls because we get dum-dums like that who get a kick out of it for themselves and maybe one or two of their friends only. So we stick to text. And we had so many people saying, do not take phone calls, just go with text. So we did that. And I'll tell you what, the Nasty Chat has proven to be a really good alternative. I see some Canucks fans getting into the Nasty Chat. I will time out people if you're being stupid, like the one guy. Just saying. All right, couple more texts, Trev. Couple more texts. Don from Edmonton says, good evening. So very, very tired of the Oilers not shooting the puck. Oh, my God. Don from Edmonton. Let's go to this one here. Says, Tom, if it was just one game, I wouldn't be concerned. But the 5-on-5 play tonight was not much different than it was since Game 3 versus LA. This team has basically generated nothing 5-on-5 since then. Very few quality grade A chances. The power play making the team look better than it has been. It was enough to beat LA, but big picture, there's no way this team is beating Dallas or Colorado playing this way. They can do it, but we haven't seen it. Hopeful, but concerned. Brock B. Good to hear from Brock, first-time texter. Good buddy of ours, Brock. Absolutely fantastic. And, yeah, they need to elevate their game, Brock. I'm with you there. Hope your workout was good, too, today, pal. Eddie says, blame it on Cuthbert, bringing the Leafs luck over to the Oilers. Get Jack out there with Louis on the call. Eddie from Vancouver. This one out of Sasky says, would be nice if their goaltenders had the mental toughness to take some criticism. Fortunately, they can't pull them when they're struggling. Pickard has been solid, would wake the team up if Stu was pulled. Horrible effort by all. Jose says, let's hope that Darnell Nurse has at least one body check next game. Jose, he was bad tonight. Let's go to Seaside Slug, gets the last word tonight. Says, Draisaitl's injury changed the whole team's identity. Everything changed after that. Skinner was weak. The Vancouver fans are a factor as much as Oilers fans don't want to admit it. It's time for Gagne. Draisaitl's back. Better readjust, or this series is going the Canucks' way. Woo! All right. Trev, final thoughts from you, pal.
Yeah. Here, wait, I'll just put myself up on camera here. Yeah, Tommy. Well, it's no. I mean, I'm not going to be the first one to say it. It's been said many years, and it's going to be continued to be said. But it happened. Move on. It's in the past. Don't dwell on it. It's the playoffs. You can't dwell on it, right? Because when you do, it's gonna just keep on affecting you. But man, like that being said, the Oilers, I'm not saying next game is a must win because it's not literally a must win. But as far as the morale of this team, Tommy, like they haven't won against the Vancouver Canucks, and they didn't do it in the regular season. It's now one game. Yes, they were winning, and they could have very well won this game. They had a few more bounces go their way, but yeah, I mean they just. if you got the lead, just shut it down. And I wouldn't mind seeing maybe a Carrick get in the lineup. I wouldn't mind seeing the Oilers be a little bit more physical, because that's one thing. You saw it. There were so many players that shied away from, that's why they were on the perimeter. Every time you tried going in, it was either Myers or Zadorov that was shutting you down. So, and it was very effective when they did that. The Oilers, they have some big guys. Vinny Desharnais is one of those big guys. He had 0 hits tonight. That's not ideal. So that's one thing I'd like to see. Just be a little bit more physical. And Cass had mentioned, yes, the Oilers unfortunately are going back to, I wouldn't say they're relying on their power play right now, but it's certainly helping them out. But you're not going to be getting any chances on the power play if all you're doing is staying on the perimeter, right? Those chances come from going in the dirty areas. So the Oilers are going to have to do that as well. We've seen it. The Oilers can play a shutdown game. It's one game. But this was it was a one-off. This isn't who the Oilers are. They'll be back. And but that being said, Vancouver Canucks, they'll definitely be back as well. So game 2 looks like it's going to be a good one, Tommy.
I like it, Trev. Well said. I had a big eating grin on my face because I was putting people in timeout because it was funny.
You can't do
I
that.
like
I
it.
saw that. As I was talking, I seen the nasty chat. It was just like, meow, meow.
Bye-bye. I love it. Do appreciate people tuning in from out of market, and hope you enjoyed it. And if you are too much of a pain in the ass, I will put you in timeout. Let's go to Gord with this one. The nasty chat will be the last one of the night. Says, effort tonight. We will see what this team is made of on Friday. Well said. Well said. All right. That's going to do it for the Oil Stream post-game show brought to you by GCL Diesel. It was a fun time here at Hudson's Bourbon Street at West Edmonton Mall. We're going to be back here Friday night for the game. It's going to be a nice time there as well. I've got some GCs to give away, obviously. Come on down. Enjoy with your fellow Oiler fans. Maybe you're a Canucks fan. Who cares? You will be chastised. The one Canucks fan that was in here, I won't say what he did, but it was pretty stupid, and he got thrown out for being pretty stupid. Big thank you to everybody who watched, who listened, who texted in, whether it was via the nasty chat, even the Canucks fans that are stirring crap up, and everybody that got in on the inbox. For YouTube Trev and Matt Kassian, I am Tom Gazzola saying thank you as always. Get your rest. Take a deep breath, Oil Country. Regroup tomorrow, mix in water. We will see you in the AM. Ciao for now.